indie mogul, Zach Finfrock here for Backyard FX, the show where we show you how to do awesome Hollywood special effects on a backyard budget. Today, I'm at my buddy Ralis Khan's effects studio in downtown LA because he is going to help us show you guys how to do a slit throat effect. So, a slit throat effect, you know, when you take a knife and go blood and it's spraying all over. That effect is in countless horror movies, action movies, things like that. Now, the reason I'm at my buddy Ralis Khan's effects studio is because he is going to be the build team member for this effect. Everyone, Ralis Khan.
Hey everyone.
Hello. How long have you been doing effects?
I've been doing effects for 20 years.
20 years. I'm pretty sure most of you aren't 20, or, I mean, I'm 24, he's been doing 20 years. 20 years.
Yeah.
What's some of the things you've done so far?
Well, just recently, one of the bigger things that I've done is I created the mask for Slipknot. Actually, they're in Europe touring right now.
Yeah.
I'm very happy they're out playing again, and I get to make their masks.
So, I mean, what kind of movies have you done?
Bigger movies, like last summer I did The Collector. Which was a fun, horrific, gory movie. We also worked on Resident Evil Extinction.
Nice.
Worked on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, as well as TV shows.
TV shows,
Not
yeah.
movies, but, you know.
Alright. Now, how do you plan on doing this slit throat effect?
Well, actually, we're going to step things up. We're going to do a negative mold for the appliance. So we're actually going to have an appliance, and under the appliance is going to be some flat tubing.
Okay.
And that's going to be hooked up to a pressurized sprayer.
So it really just gushes out.
We get lots of blood.
Nice. And then how much is this going to cost?
I'm going to say it's about $60, and the majority of that is the deck sprayer. But once you have it, you can use it for all kinds of stuff.
$60. Let's go.
Let's go.
Plaster of Paris, Play-Doh, baby powder, a 2-liter bottle, fake blood, liquid latex, heat shrink tubing, connections for tubing, scissors, makeup and applicators, clear plastic tubing, a garden sprayer, a heat gun, hot glue, zip ties, and basic mixing and applicating appliances.
This build's difficulty level is 7.
Simple time lapse. Woo!
The first thing you'll do is set up a little station with your 2-liter bottle so the bottle doesn't move. Then take a permanent marker and draw a shape on it for the appliance. Now, you don't have to make this that big, just gauge it based on your actor. Then, you want to take the Play-Doh and build up a wall around what you drew. Make sure it's secure. Next, you want to mix your plaster of Paris. What Ralis does is he fills about 1/4 of his container full of water. Then he sifts in the plaster on top. He adds so much to a point where the plaster will sit on top of the water, and you won't see water anymore. Then he mixes it up. The consistency is very close to that of pancake batter. Once that's ready, you'll paint the first layer onto the mold. Then after that, you're going to just slowly drizzle on more on top of that first painted layer. Keep doing this until your mold is full. As the plaster dries, it's going to be a little more like clay. You want to mold a flat top so then when this mold is ready to take out, it'll sit flat on the table. While the plaster is drying, you're going to want to take some heat shrink tubing and flatten it. Once that's flat, you're going to want to heat shrink it to a tube connector and then add some plastic tubing to that using a zip tie to secure it. You want to secure the other end of the plastic tubing to some more connectors. Ralis uses a quick release valve so it's easy to take the fake blood on and off of the appliance. Next, you want to take some hot glue and hot glue the end of the heat shrink tubing, making sure it is shut tight. You don't want blood coming off the end of it. Then you want to mark little slits on the tubing and cut those out with scissors. Be very careful to not cut out through the tubing all the way to the other end. You just want it on one side. Once the plaster is dry, you want to take off as much Play-Doh as possible, and then draw a thin line around the edge of the plaster. Next, you want to add the liquid latex to this mold. The first layer of liquid latex should go all the way to that edge that you drew. After that, each layer should get progressively smaller and closer to the center. You want to do about 8 layers of this. Your final layer will go all the way back to that original edge that you first drew. When you take off the appliance, make sure you use plenty of baby powder because you don't want the appliance to rip. Trim off some of the excess edging. Now it's time for the application. After preparing your actor with plenty of precautions about makeup and fake blood, you want to rub down the area with alcohol. After securing the tubing to the back of your actor using safety pins and tape, you want to add liquid latex to the heat shrink tubing and your actor's neck. Using a blow dryer to dry the liquid latex and making sure you're not going to burn your actor, you dry that liquid latex. The heat shrink tubing will stick to your actor's neck. Then you want to stipple around the edges of that heat shrink tubing with more liquid latex, waiting for it to dry. Once it is dry, you want to add liquid latex to the top and bottom of the middle of the skin appliance. That should stick to the liquid latex you have there already. Then you want to slowly add more liquid latex from the inside out of the appliance. Once you have the appliance secured, you want to stipple on more liquid latex around the edges. Now, you want to do about 3 layers of liquid latex, stippling far away from the appliance, blending it in to the actor's skin using a torn edge of a sponge. Then you add the makeup to blend the entire appliance into the actor's skin. Make sure to add some reds and pinks to it so it looks more like flesh tone and matches your actor perfectly. The last step is you want to powder on as much powder on top of it so the makeup stays where it is. Now the last thing you'll do is add the fake blood to your garden sprayer, hook up the appliance and make sure the blood is right to the edge of the appliance, ready to go, and then you have some fun.
It's still going.
You're still leaking.
It's coming out from the latex.
Oh, not again.
And there you guys go. A slip throat effect. Now, Rallis, do you have any safety tips?
Yeah, don't use a sharp knife. Make sure that knife is dull, or a plastic knife.
Don't use a sharp knife.
No edge, no serrated knives.
I mean, you already have the appliance cut ahead of time.
Right.
You shouldn't need a sharp knife.
And you don't even need to really touch the actor with it.
Yeah.
In fact, we've done this effect where we just use like the fingernails of somebody's hand and just pass it in front.
So you can really use anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You try it with a pipe wrench.
Yeah, or a crowbar.
So that is it for this episode of Backyard Effects, and one of the last ones. Next week will be our last episode of Backyard Effects. Well, last build episode. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of the effect. If you want to go to the newest episode of Backyard Effects, you go to this one here. And if you want to go to a cool other gory effect that we did back when I first started as host, you go to that video there. Alright? And also, Rallis and I are thinking about doing a DIY show of our own on Wayside Creations channel. What do you guys think of that? I mean, it'd be fun.
I think it'd be cool. I had a good time doing this. I'd like to keep doing it.
So what do you guys think? Should we do something like that?
Let us know.
Bye!